What is going on, everybody? What is going on? What is going on? What is going on? What is going on? Obviously, Monday, start of another week. Hope everyone has had a. I guess it's listen. I guess everyone I hope everyone has had a good Monday. Obviously to say a absolute disaster. Um, it, it's obviously a loss always stinks. You will take the ugliest of wins, the so-called prettiest of losses, which no loss is pretty, but you will take the ugliest of wins over any loss. But this was a game, and if y'all watched my channel earlier, a few days ago before the game, I said that Denver would win. I picked Denver to win this game. And I thought that, because I just saw this was a game that worked against the Falcons. I do. I thought this was a game that I did not like how it was scheduled. And obviously, we can't control that. But it did not feel like the type of game we win. And I said that with the bye week coming up, it's going to be in many ways this team was ready. It looks ready for the bye week. Well, that happened to say the least. It is not the way of how that the Falcons lost yesterday. It's not that they lost. If we would have lost this game by a touchdown, and there still definitely would have been some issues to ink out, but if we would have lost this by a touchdown, bye week with something to look back on this game. Falcons since that 4-day stretch in 2021 where over a 4-day stretch going into Dallas and getting our asses kicked, and then returning home on Thursday night and New England doing the same thing. This is easily the worst I can remember the Falcons losing since that stretch. This is the absolute worst they have looked. You look at all the other losses on this season, and I would say, like, for even the Seattle loss, even though that game it ended very poorly, it was still a 10-point game in the fourth quarter. In many ways, we collapsed late. This team had zero hope. There was zero hope, and even before that, I don't know how much hope there could have been, because honestly, I could kind of feel it. I said it all week. I don't typically pick the Falcons to lose, but I did, because I just did not feel like this was a game we would win. It was honestly so many things working against us in this game. We were banged up, injuries, but you really cannot use that as an excuse. You can't. But we did have a bunch of injuries. We did. And even a lot of the guys who were playing were banged up. And going into Denver, I want to give I'm going to give props to the Broncos. Their fan base is honestly one of the best fan bases in the whole NFL. How they rock out Mile High Stadium is, there's not too many teams that do it like they do it. So shout out to the Broncos fans. Shout out to the Broncos. Y'all earned that win yesterday. Y'all absolutely earned that win. Bo Nix looked absolutely amazing. And Sean Payton got the better end of us again. And I fucking hate saying that. But it's just true. But there's only so much I really think you can look at from that standpoint and really just look at this Falcons team did not come out prepared at all. It looked like there was zero juice, zero motivation. This team wasn't even asleep. This team basically wasn't even there. The only thing that was there was a bunch of warm bodies. So looking at this loss, it's almost one of those losses you really just want to put behind you. But the thing is, and look, it's an AFC opponent. It's a game that outside of the general standings, is not going to affect you with conference record or division record or any of that. They're in a completely different conference. So this is generally a type of game that you would say is easy to throw away. But you're going to have to sit on this for 2 weeks. Now, with your bye week here officially, it is officially your bye week. And where I really feel like it was disappointing is you want to go into the bye week with a little something. Obviously, you want to go into the bye with momentum and a win, but you want to go into the bye with a little something to look at. And now for 2 weeks, we got to sit on the worst performance this team has put out in a few years. So that's what makes it tough, man. That is what makes this loss tough more than anything. Now, does this loss sting? No, got our asses kicked yesterday. And honestly, you really got to start because paired, uninspired, nothing was clicking. Fence, nothing could get going, and that I think is easily what you can chop this game down to. We couldn't get anything going, and I said this. If you were going to win this game, you had to come out and you had to get a fast start. You could not let Denver get ahead early. And what do you know? We let Denver get ahead early. It's 21-6 at half. The game's over at that point because I'm going to tell y'all something. This is not a Falcons team that is built, at least in a situation like yesterday. This was not a team built to make a comeback in that type of game. It just wasn't. That was not our day. It just was not our day at all. And outside of the first drive where it looked like we had a little something going with Bijan Robinson in the running game, and then we get down deep inside the red zone, and what the fuck do you know? Another holding call. See, that's the shit that really fucking irritates me. And we've seen it so much, especially in the past few years. We'll get down, we'll have a great drive going, and then bam, holding call, sloppy motions. I mean, I'm talking about stupid shit that costs us these drives and makes us settle for field goals. It's just fucking stupid shit like that has cost us in so many spots. But you let Denver get ahead yesterday on the scoreboard, the game was over. Because this is not a situation that this was not a situation this game. It's just not. It's in Denver. It's hard to breathe up there. Absolutely fucking gas. Single flopping, you know what. Really consider that this wasn't just a loss. This was absolutely atrocious. And now that really kind of brings me to the main point of this stream, which is as we enter the bye week. I'll say this about this game. This is a game that the game itself is pretty easy to put behind you. It is. It's easy to put behind you. It's an AFC game. It doesn't mean it's it's just, it's nothing. Because it's not. The game absolutely meant something. However, I do believe you can put this game behind you easier than if this were to have happened versus a division opponent. But the bigger issue, I think, is not that the Falcons lost, but it is the effort that they put out on that field, which was zero. After that opening drive, this team looked like they had nothing to play for. It looked like they were ready to get back to Atlanta and ready to fucking take off to Malibu or fucking the Dominican Republic or wherever, which, by the way, I love that John Abraham said this. Whatever fucking vacation plans anyone associated with this team had on the bye week needs to be canceled. Any getaway family time needs to be canceled. Because we got 6 games left. And what that was yesterday, that is in no way a serious football team. That was an played well. You can forget a fucking game ball. Nobody. There is no fucking game ball because nobody played worth a single shit. Nobody. And now that brings me to the big point coming out of this game. The defensive coaching staff. Jimmy Lake. Now look, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to keep it straight. I've given Jimmy Lake patience. Honestly, I've liked what I've seen from the secondary. I know that's what he's strong at. I've waited to see how this defense would develop, see if maybe they could possibly start getting pressure on the quarterback. It's not happening. It's not fucking happening. This has got to honestly be one of the most useless front sevens in NFL history. What the fuck are we even doing at this point? Because forget even getting the quarterback on the ground for a second. We're not getting pressure on the quarterback. We're not getting the quarterback to throw the ball away. We're not getting the quarterback on the ground. We're not doing any of that. Whenever someone from the front seven, whenever one of our outside linebackers does make contact with the quarterback, they end up whiffing and the quarterback goes off for a 20-yard run. It's not just this week. It's the entire season. That's what's frustrating. The same shit we are seeing preseason shit in week 11. I can understand the frustration around preseason week 1, week 2. It's week 11. And you're still failing to get pressure on the quarterback. At some point, and listen, don't give me the bullshit about we need to go out and get an edge rusher. Because what did we do before the season started? We went out and we traded for a fucking edge rusher. And he hasn't done shit. Judon might be the most disappointing move the Falcons have made, at least since Dante Fowler. Maybe even I'd go as far back as Steven Jackson, because what we were expecting this dude to come in, and we weren't expecting him to be no 15, 20 sack guy, but what we were expecting, I at least think, was anywhere from 7, 8 sacks, and then opening up lanes for guys like Arnold Ebiketie, for guys like Caden Ellis, Lorenzo Carter, those types of guys to also get to the quarterback, and the sacks would eventually add up. And Judon is just the primary guy. And listen, the Falcons have not been able to get to the quarterback a lot. That has been an issue. But I believe it is what? 9 sacks? Matter of fact, hold on a second. Because I'm going to laugh my ass off if this is the case. I'm going to laugh my fucking ass off if this is the case. And they really, because I saw something from yesterday when Bo Nix, what? You got to be fucking kidding me. They actually gave us a fucking mercy sack yesterday. The Falcons have been so awful with getting to the quarterback. They're now just giving us mercy stats because it's an embarrassment to the NFL at this point. Matthew Judon was credited with a sack yesterday for Bo Nix tripping over his own offensive lineman. That's a fucking joke. So what? Technically, 10 sacks on the season through 11 games. That has got to be one of, if not the worst numbers in NFL history as far as sacks go per game. That is dead end pin drop god awful. When you look at that, that's inexcusable. It is. That's inexcusable. And it's, there's no excuse for it. There's no going, oh, well, this and that and this and that. I don't care. We are unable to bring the quarterback down to save our life. You could literally put someone from the 72 Dolphins back there, and we would still struggle to bring them down. That's how sad this has gotten with this team. The defense is playing like a bunch of fucking pussies. If your name's not Grady Jarrett, you're playing like a fucking pussy. And it's sad, man. It's sad. Linebackers. Oh, you want to talk about disappointment. Nate Landman. What a fucking disappointment. Troy Anderson. His ass can't even get on the field most of the time. What a fucking disappointment. Caden Ellis. What a fucking disappointment. I've already covered Judon. Arnold Ebiketie. What a fucking disappointment. David Onyemata. What the fuck do you even do? Other than with your big fat ass take up hair. You don't do anything. All you do is just sit there. fucking dumbfounded. Carter, what do you do? Nothing. Shit. I'll even go as far as saying I'm not going to hate on Jesse Bates. I'll put Jesse Bates in the Grady category. If you're not Grady Jarrett or you're not Jesse Bates, you're playing like a fucking pussy. Jesse Bates is a godsend. But even him, where Jesse was making plays left and right last year, it's gone down. Now he's still holding up his own. He's still doing what needs to be done. He had some nice pass breakups yesterday. He's the only one doing it. Justin Simmons, what are you doing? You've let up big plays this year. And it all leads me to this. I've given Jimmy Lake time. I gave him until the bye week. Now, do I honestly think it's going to happen? No, I do not. I don't. But if I was Raheem Morris, I am snatching Jimmy Lake's play calling abilities away. And matter of fact, I'm getting him the fuck out of the building, and I'm making Jerry Gray the defensive coordinator. And I'm giving him play calling duties. Because at least while I don't know how better this defense gets, I don't think they just automatically turn a switch and become the 85 Bears. I at least think Jerry Gray knows how to run an NFL defense. Jimmy Lake does not know how to run an NFL defense for shit. All Jimmy Lake knows how to do is run cover 3 and soft zone. The blitzes are so few and far between, and they are so fucking basic. There is no strategy behind it. It is soft zone defense that you know is going to get eaten alive. And yet you're still running it. There's no man-to-man where you see a lot of these players they are best at. There's no man-to-man. They aren't allowed to get in anybody's face. There's no creative, exotic blitz designs. It's the same fucking sub packages and formations on defense being called every fucking play. Of course, you're going to get figured out. And you really got exposed yesterday. Because if something don't change, they are absolutely... What do you think fucking Justin Herbert's going to do looking at that? And what do you think Kevin O'Connell's going to draw up? Well, because those are our next two games. What the fuck do you think is going to happen if you continue to come out looking that piss poor? Yes, you want to blame players, but you have to look at the coaching at some point. And this is not an NFL defense. And that is what the downfall of this team is going to be. But now you're fucking it up so much, you might honestly you're really honestly trying to let Tampa Bay back in this division race is what you're doing. And you still got the head-to-head over them. I understand that. But you're trying to let them back into the race. And Tampa Bay's schedule remaining, now they're not going to run the table. I can tell you all that right now. But Tampa Bay, they're going to win more of their games that's left on their schedule than they are going to lose. And we still got some tough games left on our schedule. Every game at this point, you got to go out and win. You do. But that was so embarrassing. But if I am Raheem Morris, I'm about, and listen, I'm not done talking about Raheem Morris after this season. But if I'm Raheem Morris, I am getting Jimmy Lake the fuck out of here, or at the very least, taking away his play calling duties and giving them to Jerry Gray, someone who, even though I don't think it's going to turn the complete 180, maybe you can get it to at least a 90-degree turn, to where some stuff can start changing. Maybe to where you could start getting a little bit of pressure on the quarterback, getting the quarterback on the ground a little bit. Something has to be done over this bye week. Because if we come out in 2 weeks versus the LA Chargers looking this way, I'm going to tell you all this right now. That Chargers game in a few weeks is going to really, I think, tell us how the rest of the season goes. Everyone asking me, am I in panic mode yet? And panic mode, I think it honestly, it kind of varies. What am I panicking over? I still think at this rate, do I still think at this rate we'll make the playoffs? Yes. Do I think at this rate we can still get things turned around and, go on a winning streak at the end of the year? Honestly, I do. But shit's got to get turned around. That's why I say the bye week cannot be coming. And I hate when my team's not playing, but I am so glad it is the bye week this week. I'm so glad that I don't have to see that again. Because after you lose 2 games the way you just lost those games, you lose that game in New Orleans in that embarrassing fashion, and you lose yesterday with no effort at all shown on the field. Yeah, I'm ready for the fucking bye. I'm glad it's here. This is fucking embarrassing. But if I'm Raheem Morris and I am serious about this being a playoff team and this being a team that could do something come January, I am evaluating everyone on this coaching staff's role. More specifically, Jimmy Lake. You want to have Jimmy Lake work with the DBs, that's fine. But Jerry Gray needs to be the head man. It needs to be your defensive coordinator, pretty much. He needs to be calling plays because he needs to be the guy that you are going to for running this defense, basically. Because with Jimmy Lake, there's nothing. Jimmy Lake is a defensive quality control coach at the NFL level. That's what he is. He's a defensive quality control guy at this level. But I'm not just going to rip Jimmy Lake a new one either. Coach Ra, head man in charge. Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky, positive attitude. I got one question. One fucking question. Someone explain to me what a walkthrough Wednesday is. Someone explain it to me. A walkthrough Wednesday, because this is apparently the past few weeks what they've been doing. They've been going in there on Wednesdays and they've been running walkthroughs. Now, now listen, and this isn't throwing shade at anyone in particular. It's really not. It's just kind of in general. Because I understand not everyone knows how a NFL week goes leading into game day. A walkthrough is your final practice. It is just getting things straightened out, getting things, settled, getting your game plan finalized. But the rest of the week leading into that walkthrough, you're supposed to be building the game plan, building strategy. And I understand people are so sick of, talking about what goes on in practice, but it's true. This is where the game plan is really formulated over the course of the week. And for much of the season, you look at it on both the offense and defense, there's really been no game plan. Yesterday, you could maybe say there was a little bit with trying to get Bijan involved and, have him be a major point of your offense. But even still, after that, there was still sloppy communication, sloppy play all around. That's what it was. And it wasn't just sloppy. It was sloppy. What was not even edible. But what the hell is a walkthrough Wednesday? Because let me get this straight. If you're not playing on Thursday night football, which the Falcons have done and will do one time this season, a walkthrough Wednesday should not even fucking cross anybody's mind. What the fuck is a walkthrough Wednesday? Wednesday is the most important day of the week other than game day. It is the day you go in, you install the game plan, you're supposed to really know what the fuck you're supposed to be doing for that week's game. And you're going in there on Wednesdays and doing fucking walkthroughs. What the fuck are you walking through? What? Are you walking through fucking doing cartwheels in the end zone? Is that what you're walking through? What's the fucking purpose? What are you doing on a walkthrough Wednesday? That's what this team has done the past 2 weeks, and look what's happened. So there's no fucking strategy. No through Wednesday. I don't think I've ever heard of that in football. That are not playing on Thursday night football. That has got to be the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. Fucking walkthrough Wednesday. And you wonder why this team is coming out and looks fucking lost when they hit the field. Because they don't know what the fuck to do. There is no game plan. They're pulling shit out of their ass. You expect your coordinators to be magicians. And this happy-go-lucky shit. Raheem Morris, you know who you're honestly really starting to remind not just me, but a lot of people of? Dan Quinn. You're really starting to rear the ugly head of the guy you were once the top lieutenant for here. Listen, I'm all for being happy-go-lucky. I'm all for, treating these guys like men. I'm all for that. But when shit gets rough, you need to turn that switch and get serious. It's been the same fucking thing you hear every week. And Raheem said today, oh, well, we got our butts kicked. Yeah, and what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? It can't just be, we're going to get back and watch film. That's the best thing. We're going to watch film. We're going to, and Raheem said, we're going to give guys time off this week. Now, look, heal up, sure, do it. We need to heal up. But if these guys are not together, building chemistry, because that's the other big issue right now. These guys look out of sync. They look disconnected with each other. That's the sad thing. They're not playing as a team. And that leads to shit that we saw yesterday. This is real hardcore football talk. When you see a team playing bad like this, the issues just stretch beyond making a bad play. There's miscommunication because guys have disconnected from each other. Kirko, $180 million. That is absolutely just on the other side, and you never even looked at him. Bijan was wide open, right there for the picking. Just a layup of yards. And you stare Drake London down the entire time for the linebacker to make a play on the ball. Offense, too. Offense did not play good at all. But something has to change. Something's gotta fucking change. And if a change does not happen, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know how this season ends. I don't. I really don't. They have still been all for nothing, even though you swept Tampa Bay. Is that what you want? Or do you want to be playing in January and at least have a fucking chance? Or are you just going to fucking collapse into the dark? That's what this team is faced with right now. It's none of this. We got to work on stuff. We got to get better. No. What the fuck do you want to be remembered as? Now, with all that being said, because I do think that this is pretty damn close to rock bottom. Hitting this low point, heading into your bye week, even though it is frustrating as hell. Now, let's be clear about one thing. There's still a lot of fucking issues. There's still a lot of fucking issues that need to be fixed. But the only way you really can go from here is up. And I say that to say, because there are still 6 games left on the year. This team still leads the NFC South. And we are still in a position to be playing January football. But that can never happen again. What I saw out there this late in the year, that cannot fucking happen. And is the season over? No. Season's not over. I think the bye week is coming at a great time. But changes have to be made. They do. And whether it's personnel being shuffled up, as I say, I'd give the fucking duties of defense coordinator to Jerry Gray at this point. I know a lot of people are talking about Raheem needs to do it himself, but I think that creates another issue. I do. Very few coaches. And we've seen it the previous 2 times. It's going to create issues at some point. Raheem doesn't need to try to be fucking Bill Belichick or Andy Reid. You got a guy in Jerry Gray who I think you got to put confidence in can handle play calling. He's been around the league. He played in the NFL. I think Jerry Gray can handle play calling. can handle figuring out what to do. Jerry Gray was here last year. Everyone loves talking about Ryan Nielsen. Guess what? It ain't like Ryan Nielsen's doing any better in Jacksonville. But you want that back? You do have a guy on this staff from last year. And Jerry Gray needs to get with the guys up front. Ask them, what the fuck do you want to do? How the fuck can we get you to the quarterback? It's all about communication over this bye. Get in your fucking head straight. Get your head in the fucking game or get it the fuck out. It's frustrating, man. It is because you know what this team could do. You know what this team could do. But that's what makes this shit frustrating. Offense has to get back in sync. They do. Kirk hasn't thrown a touchdown pass since November 3rd versus the Cowboys. Next time we play, it will officially have been 4 weeks since Kirk Cousins threw a touchdown pass. That cannot be happening. For a guy that we're paying, $180 million, that's unacceptable. So disappointing. Disappointing, angry. But at the end of the day, a much-needed bye week for everyone is here. So with that being said, I do plan on probably – I'm not going to make any promises. I got to see what the rest of the week looks like. Maybe the end of the week, maybe around like Friday, maybe I'll go live and try to get special guests or two to join me. Or, worst case scenario, early next week. I kind of like to do it Friday, during the bye week. Might try to get a special guest or two to join me. And really talk about the state of this team at the bye, what needs to be fixed on it, and kind of dive deeper into some of the things I brought up. We got 6 games left, and I'll say, I think if the Falcons team that we have seen at certain points this season shows up, I think we could win all 6 of those games. So if the team like this that we saw yesterday continues to be the Falcons team we see the rest of the year, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. Now, do I think we're going to see 38-6 the rest of the year? No, we're not. But this defense has to get fucking fixed. It has to. There has to be fucking adjustments made. And I'm not just talking what we're going to make adjustments. We've heard the same shit. There needs to be actual fucking change. Shuffle some shit up. Make some fucking heads roll. Everyone has their head that they want to roll, but just make some fucking heads roll. Get this fucking defense going. And looking respectable, because I'm telling you right now, 10 sacks through 11 weeks, that ain't respectable. Teams aren't going to respect you. They're going to laugh at you. Anyways, man, appreciate you all for watching. If y'all, would feel so kind, Cash App is there. You want to donate, obviously not forcing anyone to, but if you would feel so kind to do so, I would very much appreciate it. Maybe I'll be back here at the end of the week, talk about some things that need to be fixed as we head into the final 6 games of the year that are going to be 6 very big games as we look to make the push to the playoffs. But anyways, man, obviously rough loss, rough way to go into the bye week. But man, this is going to be needed, and it's time. And we need to use this bye week wisely, and we need to make some fucking shit happen. we need to shuffle some shit up, and we need to do it fast. Anyways, with that being said, I will see you all in the next one.